Dear sisters and studio guest, I met my husband when I was a few weeks pregnant. I seduced him and we had unprotected sex. I pinned the pregnancy on him and he believed me. He believes our daughter was born prematurely. She's now 5 and very smart. My husband can move mountains for her because his love for her is out of this world. In fact, he's a perfect father. She goes to expensive schools and has everything she needs. Her biological father died when she was just 1 year old. My problem now, ladies, is the biological father's sister, who's been blackmailing me for the past 3 years. Her brother told her everything before he died. I pay her monthly to buy her silence. My problem now is she's becoming greedy. She says the price of food and transport has gone up, and now she wants an increase in her monthly allowance. I just can't afford to pay her more. I'm stressed like nobody's business because if my husband finds out, I don't know what he'll do to me and my daughter. The solution I have is very scary, and I do not want to go down that route again. Please help me, sisters. I need double and less risky ideas. Less risky ideas. Clearly, where her mind is going, we don't want to encourage it. But she had a child or got pregnant, saw a great man and decided, I want this man. So she now pinned the pregnancy on the gentleman. Fast forward, they have a perfect family, but now one person is ruining her fantasy. What would we do? What are your first opinions hearing the story? I'll start with you, Rosie.
Me?
Yes.
Not fair to me. It's crazy.
How?
Because there are certain things that always come to bite you. I mean, you could lie about your favorite outfit just because you don't want to make someone feel bad.
Yeah.
But lying about a child,
Yes.
and lying about a baby it can easily be traced, you know. And there are some lies that once you start the lie, it becomes very difficult to keep up. Now, she was complaining about the fact that the lady is charging her a lot. You have charged some other man a marriage. You've also charged him the responsibility of taking care of your daughter through expensive schools. So whatever you're doing to this man unknowingly is what this other lady is doing to you knowingly. Now, to start with, there are certain things, once you do it, I think her mistake was to even start paying the lady to begin with. That was her mistake. And if the husband loves the daughter like she's describing, really, there'll be a rough patch. The man will never, but that's all the man has ever known. That's his daughter, that's his baby girl.
But not everyone may be forgiven enough to want to stay.
Yeah, the man might not stay. I mean, he probably would not stay because it's not like she didn't know that the baby was for somebody. It wasn't like maybe she did a one-night stand and she probably didn't know when it happened or it turned out to be. This one she knows. And she intentionally pinned it on this other gentleman and kept her silence for 6 years because the child is now 5 years. So kept her silence for 6 years. So
and thought the child was born prematurely.
Yes, and tried to sell that story out to the man that the child was born prematurely and all of that. So it's the intent is too dark. You know what I mean? So I don't see any man forgiving her for manipulating him enough. Because I'm sure the moment she says I'm pregnant, the man said, let me do the right thing, get you married, make sure you have the baby within wedlock. I want to, marry you and do the best. I think the man went through all those motions. Only to find out that, Charlie, the lady was selling him a lie all along. So to begin with, trust is completely out of the window. Anger is going to set in, all kinds of emotions going to set in. But initially, he probably not want to see the woman and the child. But I think that if whatever he shares with the child is so genuine, at some point, just maybe, he might rescind his decision to not be with the child and actually let the child back into his life.
But she will lose her relationship.
Oh, that one. I don't see why you want a relationship. That's you being greedy. So hold on, wait. You pin a child on somebody else. First marriage is the person. Somebody is blackmailing you small. Say transport fares have gone up. You can't handle that one. Then you now you want to maintain your relationship. I mean, you can't have it all. Something has to give.
Okay, I understand.
Because for me, this is what I think. I think you should call the ladies bluff. If you want to go tell my husband, go tell my husband. Now, being the man's sister, and so the husband might not even give him the audience, give her the audience.
Oh, that's true.
That's true. May not give her the audience. So if it were me, I probably wouldn't even. I wouldn't have paid her anything to begin with.
But the thing is, once the doubt sets in, that's
A
when
lot
you
of
now
things-
decide to do a DNA test,
But
which will
why-
now prove that
But,
the child is not
but
his.
why lie to begin with? You see, that's my problem. You see,
But then
some-
how do you now, you find the
some
perfect
lies-
guy and you know you're pregnant?
tell him. You see, I know a couple. Okay, they were dating, normal, and the lady sort of like had an affair. And when she realized that she was pregnant, she told the current boyfriend that, look, listen, at some point, this is what happened. I had an affair and I'm pregnant. I'm not quite sure
If it's
if
yours,
it's yours or it's for the other guy. And amazingly, the guy said, look, it's you I'm in love with. Well, it's a mistake we'd have to deal with, but it's you I'm in love with. So that child, whether it's biologically mine or not, is still mine. And you know what? They went ahead and got married later after the confession. You see, sometimes we underestimate the love genuine men have for us. So just maybe if you had told the man that, look, I'm in a relationship, it's not going well, but I'm pregnant, I want to terminate it. The man could have said, don't. We're in a relationship, let's just look after it as if it's ours and let's take this. It's like out of fear, you go into
lie.
the marriage with a lie. And you see, there are certain lies that when you enter into the marriage with, it's like, look, every day, look, the guilt. Can you imagine living 5 years with the guilt of your husband calling this girl my daughter and doing all manner of things? When is that time that is going to be a reason to do a DNA or ask for a blood sample, and then
you realize that
you realize that
compatible.
Charlie,
Yeah.
it's not I mean, are you waiting for such a day? You know, so sometimes I feel like we women, we put too much pressure on ourselves.
Well,
If you had confessed, the man could have accepted the child as his child.
could have.
Or if he's not willing to look after it, that's the price you have to pay. It's two things. You terminate this one, have a life with him, or you keep this one and look for somebody else who can accept you with your child, period. It's one of the choices you need to make. And I would have done the latter. I mean, I would have said it if he says, look, I don't like you with the child. Okay, fine. You know, just leave. And then, you know,
You'll figure it out
people
again.
have given birth to 1, 2, 3 children, and they've still found people to
Who will
love
love
them.
them,
It's
yeah.
not impossible.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't subscribe to certain kinds of lies in marriage because they become very difficult to maintain or to keep. Yeah.
Okay, let me come to you, Olivia. To keep paying her, well, not, you can't call her sister-in-law, but then your ex's sister, or you confess and hope the husband will forgive you. Which will be a better option, in your opinion?
Neither of them.
No confession.
No, as in, okay, sorry. As in,
She
she
either continues paying or she confesses.
she should confess.
Why?
First and foremost, her motive was wrong. Secondly, what she did to the guy, if somebody had done that to her, how would she feel? I just feel like, she knew exactly what she was doing. She knew that the guy loved her. She decided to seduce the guy. So you went to the market to buy oranges. What are you expecting? What do you call it? A
Mangoes.
fancy car. Like, no. And for me, her motive was wrong. And for me, every decision that you take in life, you have to live with the consequences. What was she hoping for? That this was going to end up being a fairy tale story
Hopefully.
ending? No. What goes around comes around. Maybe today is just 5 years. Imagine 20 years down the line. However it is, you cannot hide it forever. It's definitely going to come up one day. The girl is going to grow up and think that, oh, there's something weird about daddy. There's something off. You know, weirdly, children always end up finding some way of knowing that there's the connection, unless the love that the guy has for her is
It's
genuine.
unconditional, yeah.
And at some point in time, this same woman will still confess to her daughter and say, I have something to tell you. I can't go to my grave with it. You know, maybe the child is 40, 50 years. I'm going to confess because I want to do right by God, do right by man. You know, so she deserves every bit of what's coming to her. You know, and I feel like she has no right to even think that she now wants to entertain even worse thoughts about how to handle the situation. What's she gonna do? Kill the woman? Or like, I don't even want to begin to think what she's gonna do.
She was less risky.
At this point, you know, it can only get worse because she started off on the wrong notes and things are panning out the way they should. And she should know that it's normal for these things to be happening. All she needs to do is to confess to the guy. Tell the guy, yo, my Albany, I've been so wrong to you. I've done this horrible thing to you. I know I shouldn't have. I did it because I was, at this point in time, there's no excuse.
I wanted to keep you and the child.
Yeah, but you see, what's the true definition of love? When you love somebody, you don't lie to them. And lie to them. And you know what's worse? Going down the aisle, and then you're looking them eyeball to eyeball and saying, oh, I love you for better, for worse. I'll be true to you. You know, the worst part is when they write their vows and say, oh, I'll be true to you. You're my this. Meanwhile, you're carrying another man's baby. How is it that you're able to sleep? Thank you. How is it that you're able to sleep by him day, noon, and night till this child is 5 years? So had this woman not come into the picture to even, you know, start blackmailing you, you would never have confessed.
Of course not.
And it wouldn't have been fair on the guy or even fair on the child. So confess to the guy, tell him that this is what you did and live by the consequences. If he's a good man, like Rosie is saying, he will say, okay, I forgive you. If he also can't handle the heartache, and then he decides to have all sorts of thoughts and says to himself, if you did this to me, trust is broken. He will never look at you the same. He will never. And you see, the thing is, do not expect him to look at you the same because you have done wrong by him. You have wronged him. So just live with the consequences. End by the child. Exactly. Because now technically, can you imagine the truth comes out? Now they have to figure out, do we tell the child now? Do we wait for the child to grow up? Like even the whole psychological effects of what that does to the child and even the man. Because now this man has grown to love this child as his.
Do you think the prospect of her continuing to pay is something she should consider?
No. First of all, I'm sitting here wondering, within the 5 years of their marriage, they don't have any other kid?
Ooh, scandalous.
Does that mean, because right now it's obvious the girl is fertile, does that mean the guy is not? I'm
that's
curious.
A very interesting point.
And so for me, I think, adoption has always been an issue, an option for people. So it's not out of the question. And if indeed, like my sisters have rightly said, it's wrong for you to start any marriage on such a basis of huge lies like this. There are lies people can hear and go, okay. But this one is too much to deal with. It comes down to the paternity of a whole human being who is going to grow and realize that they have an entire different family from what they've grown up to know. So it's unfair on both the man and the kid, like they've rightly said. But I think, especially that she has not mentioned that she has a child with this man, it is a great indication that there may be something wrong, either with the man or maybe aftermath with the girl. It is also an opportunity in itself to use that angle to say, hey, listen, I made this mistake in the past, and this person, maybe not even bring the blackmailing sister-in-law into the picture. Just go confessing as though you are confessing your own sins. Voluntarily, and tell the man what you did and how it's haunted you and everything, and you want to confess, and you are thinking that, listen, since he loves this girl, if he claims he loves this girl like the way he's shown to love her, he can go ahead and adopt her because the father has even passed. You know, it's an opportunity in itself. It's just unfortunate that she finds herself in this corner. But like Rosie rightly said, she should call the lady's bluff and stop paying her now for anything.
That's an interesting point though, and it brings you to another angle. Perhaps this man has known all along. You know, sometimes men know when they are incapable of getting someone pregnant.
Exactly.
And it could be that he probably even knew from the get-go
yes.
that I'm unable to have a child.
So you just pin this on
I doubt.
It could be that maybe he's always known.
The reason why I'm saying I doubt is that, you see, if the child had come somewhere later in their relationship, but it's at the very beginning. And number two, you see, since the child to an expensive school, of late, a lot of couples are resolving to having few families
Yeah.
because of the cost of taking care of your children, especially if you want them to go to super good schools.
But not
People are
one.
paying, yeah, I know not one. Maybe they are waiting a while, maybe after
5
some
years?
time. Yes, I know couples who've waited intentionally. And then after they've, because of work, because of, then they wait 5 years, 6 years, and they have another one. And they even say when the child is a little old, they can even help with
The younger one.
the younger one and things like that. So people have all kinds of dynamics. So I don't think that the man, because a man would hardly go and check himself if he knows that my wife has a child for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even if it's not coming, no pressure. Maybe the wife, I don't know. So I don't think the man really knows.
What are your initial observations when you heard it?
My observation.
Yes.
It means in the beginning she has lied to him about the baby. So that's like
No,
dishonesty in the
that's
first place.
Oh.
And then also she keeps giving the money to her sister-in-law, her ex's sister. That means that she's not willing to tell the guy anytime soon.
Absolutely.
So she keeps giving him the money. So personally, I think she should be honest with her husband, tell him the truth, and face the consequences. That money she's giving to her, she can actually use it to take care of the child. It's two things. It's either he's going to forgive her or not. So she should just be ready for the consequences. Yeah.
It's how to. I'll go to Aaron. One of two gentlemen in the studio audience today. Aaron, what are your thoughts, really? Our gentleman in the back. As a guy who is hearing that another gentleman has been misled for 5 years and is taking care of literally another man's child, what do you think she should be doing?
First of all, I think she should tell me the truth. That's the most important thing. And then I will decide whether to continue the relationship or not.
If given the opportunity, will you be able to continue? Or if you were in the one placed in this position?
Probably, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I will. Depending on the fact that me loving the kid, one, and also the love I have for the woman. His ex-boyfriend or ex-husband is no more in the picture.
Exactly.
If he was to be in the picture, then it's a different story. But now he's no more. So,
You feel a responsibility to the child?
yeah.
Okay.
And I would have continued in such way, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, I'll hear the final thoughts from Petrina as well. Because I'm also quite curious about what your thoughts will be if you. I would hate to say if you ever placed this situation, because I'm pretty sure you wouldn't be. But how do you think she should be navigating it? Should she continue paying? Should she confess?
No, I would say she shouldn't continue paying. Truth be said, she made a big error from the word go. And she has to come out clean at this point in time. I would say easier said than done, coming out clean on such an issue.
Yeah.
But she still has to go ahead and speak the truth, no matter how painful it is. Then they journey together on how to go about it, especially with a kid involved, a little child who is going to be traumatized for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
Growing up into knowing that you have two dads. You lost one when you were a year, and this one you lost along the way because of a lie along the line. So she has to come out clean, and then she has to just be upfront with her as an ex-sister-in-law, if I should call it that way, that she's no longer going to make any payments. She can call her bluff, all right, but she should come out clean with her husband first before she tries anything with her sister-in-law. She got it all wrong from the start. Like my sister also mentioned, and our sisters on the panel said earlier, she should have just come out clean. Because to make the marriage work, you have to learn to be loyal and show respect. And that respect was lacking when she told that lie, or she kept that lie to herself for all these years till this very moment that she finds herself troubled and paying money, and the other side too being so wicked, bringing in increment in fare and food charges, and so you want to take it out on the woman, knowing you find her in a very tight corner. She should just come out clean to save her head and save the little girl from any trauma that she will go through.
Very well said, Regina. Thank you so much for that.
I
Sijo.
must say this though. We have not addressed the woman. It is unfortunate and shame on her for a fellow woman to try to blackmail another woman, especially since your brother is dead.
And
And if
literally,
this is the case, this
that
woman
is
has
your
given,
niece.
exactly, this woman has provided a home, a safe space for your niece to grow and become somebody worthy. And you are trying to, what,
Milk
blackmail?
that, yeah.
Who does that? She's evil. Shame on her.
Honestly.
Yes.
Honestly.
They deserve each other, actually.
No, she's worse. She's worse.
No,
She's worse. A woman will do anything for her children.
Yeah.
You know, a woman will do, and sometimes we don't see the extent to which parents, mothers
are willing
especially,
to do, yeah.
are willing to go to make sure that their children have safe spaces to grow up in.
And the
Some
question
people
is,
are
why
even
did
willing.
she not marry the man?
Exactly. It could be that because that, judging from how she is, it could be that her
a
brother
family
was even
behavior.
worse off.
Yeah.
That's why the woman
Yeah.
didn't want to end up with any of them. And she wanted to pick this man who is good enough. And she thought, okay, this man is going to provide me a good and safe space to raise my child in. Nobody just gets up and does anything out of nothing. I will give her a mini flower for attempting to give her child a home, because it takes a village to raise a child. But, you know, and we are all not saying, the truth hurts sometimes. What she did was wrong.
Yes.
But sometimes we need to look at
at
the
the
basis,
circumstances that led
exactly.
to that. Yeah.
You know, shame on that woman for what she's doing to her fellow woman.
Yeah.
But
I can agree.
I also think that both of them, they should get rid of whatever they're going through, that this is the husband and the wife,
Yeah.
and seek professional advice with
Yeah.
regards to how to communicate to the child.
Like,
Yeah.
let's assume that the man at the time wasn't too ready and had to go and, you know,
Do everything
break
possible
back,
to,
probably sell a few things just to make sure that they got married and all of that. It's going to hit different. So he might decide that, look, I don't want you in my life. You're deceitful, you're a liar and all of that. But for the child, most likely, because you see, men find it difficult to bond with certain things. True.
Yeah.
And when they bond to a certain level, a child is not a woman that you can toast and leave.
Yeah.
So when they bond with children to that level, sometimes
It
it
gets
gets
to a point. They
it
are
gets
stuck on
difficult.
that.
In the beginning,
Oh.
they might go like, I don't want you, but
Yeah.
later on they would.
They'll find a way to. You're tuned in to Sister right here on Citi TV, and it's all live on 97.3 City FM. My name is AJ Kwakos. A very big thank you to our proud sponsors, Onga, Mama's Helping Hand, Kel Kids Toothpaste, and Ghana AIDS Commission's Red Ribbon Campaign. A very big thank you to Bruce Services for our lovely cocktails, and as well First Choice for my hair. Now, I'm here with my wonderful sisters, Olivia, Rosie, and Sicho, and of course, my wonderful live studio audience. Hi, everyone. So, of course, encouraging you to send in your messages, use the hashtag sister, and tell us what your thoughts are. We just finished our first story and moving into our second one. But not before I get the quick comment from Emily, who wanted to chip in before we went on a quick break.
Was talking, you're talking about discussing to the child who the father is.
Yes.
I think they should be open with the child and tell the child about it. Because right now the auntie is alive. You never know who else she's told about the father. So maybe in some years to come, she's going to find out who the father is.
Yeah.
So she should be open to the child about who the real father is.
Okay.